Hello students, welcome to MCQ video discussion on Medico apps. Today I'll be discussing an MCQ on zones of pulp. Now before that, I want you to subscribe our YouTube channel by hitting the bell icon so that whenever I upload such important MCQ video discussions for your PG examination, some short notes, short concepts, you will be notified for that. So let's start by first hitting the bell icon and then resolving this MCQ. So the MCQ here we are going to discuss is from the dental histology topic, and this question has been particularly asked in All India PG exam and also in the state PG examination. Now here the question asked is from the zone of pulp, and the question is Weil's zone of pulp is, and the options are cell degenerated zone, cell rich zone, cell regenerated zone, and cell free zone. Now to understand this question and to resolve this question, you should know about the zones of pulp. So in this video lecture of MCQ discussion, I'll be quickly discussing about the zones of pulp. Now zones of pulp is a very important topic from short note point of view also, as individual questions have also been asked by asking you whether discuss or enumerate the 4 histological zones of pulp. So you will be able to answer the MCQs along with the short note question which is asked in your theoretical exam. So firstly, you all know that the pulp has 2 regions, the central region and the periphery region. Now how is the central and periphery region? So here, as you can see the diagram, this is the central region and this portion is the periphery region. Periphery, you all understand, that means the outer layer which is covering or which is the outer portion of the pulp. Now this peripherally, the pulp is composed of 4 zones. Okay, the outer portion of the pulp is specifically composed of 4 zones. And how we are going to divide it? So we are going to divide this 4 zones as the odontoblastic zone or the dentin forming zone, that is the first zone. Okay, this is the first zone. The first layer you are seeing here is the odontoblastic zone or the dentin forming zone. The second zone here is the cell free zone or Weil's zone. The second portion here you are seeing, this pinkish portion, is the second zone, that is the cell free zone or the Weil's zone. And the third zone is the cell rich zone. This last portion here in the pinkish line or the pinkish diagram is your cell rich zone, that is primarily present in the coronal portion. And lastly, coming to the pulp core, that is also considered as the 4th zone of the pulp. But commonly we say that there are 3 zones and the 4th one is the pulp core or the pulp zone. Now, you must be thinking that you have already got the answer for your question, that the cell-free zone is the Weil's zone. But I want you to understand what exactly are these 4 zones. So we will quickly understand the first zone firstly about the odontoblastic zone. Now, why are we calling it as odontoblastic zone? Because the odontoblastic zone has the major component as odontoblastic cells. Now, odontoblast cells, what is the significance of this cell? So the significance is that they are dentin forming cells. Okay, now where is the odontoblastic zone? This is the odontoblastic zone which you are seeing, and it consists of odontoblast cells. These are the odontoblast cells which you are seeing. And if you see the histological diagram, this pinkish layer here is the odontoblast zone, or the odontoblast cells are present in this zone. And as I have told you, this is the first layer. Okay, so a layer of these cells, of these odontoblast cells, are present near the dentinal end of the pulp. That means it is present in the periphery. So here this starts with the dentin, and these are the 4 zones I am saying about the pulp. So the first zone which you have just seen is the odontoblast. So we will say that this layer is present near the dentin, at the end of the pulp. At the end of the pulp, if this is the dentin, if this is the end of the pulp or the peripheral portion, this layer is forming. This is the last layer which is seen, that is the odontoblastic zone. So I hope you have understood this particular point of odontoblastic zone, that it consists of odontoblast cells. So that's why it is called as odontoblastic zone. The second zone, which is very important from our MCQ point of view, is the cell-free zone. Now the cell-free zone is also known as Weill's zone. Now why we are calling it as cell-free zone? Because the major component here is of it is free of cell. There are no cells present. But if there are no cells, then what is present here? So there are network of nerves present, and those network of nerves are called as plexus of Rashkov. Okay, and this is also a MCQ question, that the plexus of Rashkov is seen in the cell-free zone or the Weil zone. Now moving ahead, this zone, this particular cell-free zone, where it will be present? So the answer will be definitely it is present just below the odontoblastic zone, because this is the second layer which we have seen. And what does this accommodate? This cell-free zone, what does this accommodate? It accommodates the odontoblasts. The odontoblast cells which are present in the odontoblastic zone, even this zone is accommodating. As you can see in this image, this whitish portion here, in between the whitish portion, this is the cell-free zone. So it is accommodating certain odontoblastic cells during the development, so that these cells, the odontoblastic cells, can move towards the pulp zone during the development. And also it is seen that during the functioning of the tooth, this particular zone is consisting of the odontoblast cells. So I hope it is clear to you what exactly is cell-free zone or the Weil zone and the odontoblastic zone, which we have discussed till now. With this, now I'm going to move to the third zone, that is the cell-rich zone. So as you can see in this image, again this pinkish portion here is the cell-rich zone. That means lot of cells are present here. So what is the major component? Automatically the major component will be the fibroblast, and lot of cells are present. And what are those cells? The mesenchymal cells are present. So fibroblast plus mesenchymal cells are present in the cell-rich zone. Odontoblastic zone had odontoblast cells. The cell-free zone or the Weil zone had what it was having? It was having network of nerves which are called as plexus of Rashkov. Okay, and here the cell-rich zone consists of the fibroblast and the mesenchymal cells. And this zone is present, this is the third layer, so it is present below the cell-free zone. Okay, here it is present below the cell-free zone. And here you need to understand this, and you need to remember this. Sometimes this can be asked as an MCQ question, that this particular zone, the cell-rich zone, is seen in both coronal and radicular pulp. Okay, so the pulp has two parts, the coronal pulp and the radicular pulp. So this particular portion is present in between both the pulp zones. Okay, and lastly, this cell-rich zone also consists of high density of cells which are rich in capillary networks. So as I've already told you, these have lots of cells, that's why they are called as cell-rich zone. So they have high density of they are having high density of rich cells which have capillary network, very good capillary network. So till now we have discussed odontoblastic, cell-free zone or the Weil zone, and the cell-rich zone. And lastly, we are now going to discuss about the pulp core. The pulp core is the last zone or the last portion of the pulp, that is the middle portion. As I have already told you, this network of nerves and blood supply is present in the pulp core. So the connective tissue basically is present in the central of this pulp, and this consists of both the radicular pulp and the coronal pulp, both, and these together are known as pulp core. And what all things will be there, what all elements will be present here? So it will consist of connective tissue, no doubt. It will have rich cellular elements, along with large network of nerves and blood vessels will also be present. So what all it will consist? The connective tissue, it will have the cellular elements, it will also have large nerves, and lastly it will have the blood vessels, as you can see in the image. And a very particular point you need to remember is that in younger pulp, the pulp of a young person has more of cells present, whereas in older patients or in older people there is more of fibrous components present in the pulp zone. So all these are the four zones which we have discussed. So let's go back to the question which I have asked you. So what is the question? The Weil zone of pulp is what it will be. Will it be degenerated zone? No, it won't be. Is it cell rich zone? No, it is not. What it was? It was a cell free zone where it was acellular. Is it a cell regenerated zone? No, it is not. So the answer for our question is D, cell free zone. And that is the answer for your MCQ. Along with that, there are two more MCQs which can be framed from this and has been asked in the examination. The first one is, I have already told you that the cell-free zone lies below what? The odontoblastic zone. Why? Because it has four layers. Just revise with me. The first zone is the odontoblastic zone. The second zone is the cell-free zone or the Weil zone. Third is the cell-rich zone. And last one is the pulp zone. Okay. And so here we are discussing about the cell-free zone. So that is the second layer that is below the odontoblastic zone. And second question I have also told you before that plexus of Reshkov is present in which zone? Automatically where there is no cell, only network of nerves are present. That is your cell-free zone. So I hope you remember both of these questions and the entire zone of pulps. And if a question is framed to you, you can easily resolve the MCQ or you can even write the short note question. So kindly keep following the YouTube channel and subscribe our YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe our BDS Express YouTube channel. In case you want daily updates on important dental topics, you need to exclusively join our WhatsApp group, and that is the link for that WhatsApp group is www.medicoapps.org/group. And the link of this group is also given in the description below of this video. So kindly join and follow our channel so that you'll be able to resolve all these important MCQs along with the important topics which I'll be updating frequently in our channel. Thank you for now. Good day. Good luck.